Hi, it's Ryan from Fowler Photography, and in this video I'm going to be answering the question, is stock photography worth it in 2020? So let's get into it. First, I'd like to share a little bit of my experience with you. I've been with microstock agencies for about 3 years now, and generally started off with just a very small portfolio and left it with very small portfolios for about 2.5 years. And about 6 months ago, I really decided to sit down and actually start uploading some photos that would otherwise have just been sitting on a hard drive. So rather than those images sitting there gathering digital dust, I decided to let them actually do something and generate some income. In that past 6 months, I've generated a massive amount of income in comparison to the previous 2 years or so, which has really seen a great boost and a nice little additional income for my business. Now I'm a full-time travel and landscape photographer, so doing stock photography is not my full-time business. I actually work with a lot of clients, and that is how I generate income within my own business. Having stock photography is a bit of additional revenue that comes in more and more over time as more and more images get uploaded. My personal policy for uploading images is I'm not going to upload my portfolio pieces, my images that I'm really proud of from my own personal work. I'm going to upload images that would otherwise just be sitting on the hard drive gathering digital dust. If they're not going to be used for anything else, they may as well be making a little bit of extra income. So who do I really think that stock photography is for? Well, from my own experience, I generate a whole lot more money actually working with clients. That's the primary service of my business. But to do that, I have to be a good photographer both technically and creatively. If you're just starting out in photography and you need to work on the technical side, stock photography is actually a really good way to improve. Because agencies like Shutterstock, for example, and Shutterstock and Adobe Stock are my two primary ones, with iStock being a third one I upload to. But Shutterstock and Adobe Stock, are the ones that I make the most sales on. So uploading to specifically Shutterstock, they're probably the hardest on your images from a technical perspective. You really need to try and get your image right to be able to get your photo onto their platform. So doing stock photography as someone starting out, an amateur, if you're just getting into it, it really helps to boost your technical skills with the camera, and a really good quick way to improve. If you're a full-time working professional, stock photography takes a considerable amount of time. So if you're working with clients a lot and you don't have a huge amount of spare time, it's probably not for you to start with. Whereas if you've got, say for example, over the Christmas, New Year period each year, or Easter, or another one of the holidays throughout the year, if you've got a little bit of downtime, that can be when you decide, okay, I've got these images from my personal collection from the past 3 months, as an example. You can sit down, choose those images, and then upload them to stock in your spare time, so that it's not taking away from a real income generating potential. Because it is a time-intensive process to actually sit down, keyword the photos, get them all right, and then especially if you're uploading to multiple agencies, copy all of that across. Now, some people would say, oh, you've got to do each one individually. I'd just like to try and get it done, so Shutterstock for me is probably the best keywording tool that you can find, with the automated search process and then selection of which keywords apply to your image specifically. So I would sit down, do that, and then I will copy the keywords across to Adobe Stock and Shutterstock, which will then speed up the whole process. So I'm not uploading to one at a time, it's uploading to one and then just copying copying the rest across to the other platforms. So what to upload? Well, there's a few ways you can do it. Being a travel photographer, I have images from all different places around the world, and they're pretty well edited to give a general feel. They're not specific, they really don't have that teal or... One other thing you can do is watch trends. So there is still money to be made in stock photography, even with me boosting my portfolio over the past 6 months or so. I still see a growth in sales. So people are still buying stock photos, and yes, I'm sure that there are stock photographers that are doing it full time that have seen drops in sales over time. However, it's an open market. There are still people buying stock photos. And what you can do is watch the trends. So places like Shutterstock, Adobe Stock, iStock, Getty Images, they usually all send out an email or post on their blog, whatever it may be, what trends to watch for in January, February. You know, coming into Christmas, you may start getting the family festive stuff. So October, that would be a good time to make sure that type of content is uploaded when a company is actually looking to go and buy those photos for their pre-scheduled marketing coming into Christmas periods. So keeping an eye on those trends is a really helpful way of boosting your sales. Although you still need some that aren't going to be as specific, because if you focus entirely on Christmas, then you're only going to get sales for a certain portion of the year. So expanding your portfolio to cover a wide range of things within your field, and that's one thing that I like to try and follow. Being a travel and landscape photographer, those are the types of images I have uploaded. I try not to go out and shoot everything outside of my own niche, because I know what I do and what really works for my customer base, fan base, and just for myself in general. And that's one of the real reasons to keep shooting, is to really nail the work for yourself and then be able to pass that on and sell that on to clients, customers, micro stock, whatever it may be, or whoever it may be. So hearing all that information, and I know that it's a bit of a blurt out there to you, but hearing that, there is still money to be made. And yes, if you are starting out as a photographer, it is an oversaturated platform. Every photographer is on there, and that's why a lot of these videos on YouTube do get so many views, simply because people starting out, if you're a hobbyist, amateur, and you just want to make a bit of extra money on the side, it's such an accessible way to do it. And if you want to improve your skills as well. Is it worth doing stock photography in 2020? Yes. If you're a working professional full-time with clients and you're making your income that way, if you've got a bit of spare time, maybe upload a few images. If you're flat out and you're just busy most of the time, take some personal time for yourself and leave this for down the track, in future, when you may have a little bit of that downtime to actually sit down and invest the time to upload these images and create a residual income. Now, just before I finish off the video, I want to give you a quick little bonus tip. Stock photography is about quantity and quality. So it's got to be the best of both worlds. If you've got 50 images on there that aren't overly well keyworded, so you may be using only 20 out of 50 keywords, you're not going to generate a whole lot of sales. But if you've got a wide variety of very good images, very solid images that are keyworded well, then yes, that will definitely help in generating an income. Even if you start getting to monthly payouts, if you're on Adobe Stock, that could potentially even be weekly payouts. I know that through December of 2019, I got 2 or 3 payouts just from continual turnover of sales, which was a really nice way to move into December. Although it wasn't a huge amount, it's nice just to have that extra little bit of income rolling through. So it's definitely a quality and quantity game to really generate an income. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you've just started stock photography or you want to get into stock photography, you may have even got a camera for Christmas, whatever it may be, leave me a comment down below in the description. If you're a full-time photographer that's not doing just stock photography, let me know. I'd love to see if you're on the platforms, or if you're not, why not? Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Leave me a comment down below, hit that like button, subscribe with the little bell icon, and I'll see you in the next video.